Have you ever heard a quiet whisper in your heart, as if God is inviting you to leave something behind? A comfortable life, your identity, even your sense of certainty. Just because He says, "Go," you step into the unknown. Abraham heard it, and what he eventually discovered was not just the promised land, but a God who walked with him, even in his trembling. Genesis chapter 12 verse 1. Leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. Genesis chapter 15 verse 6. Abram believed the Lord, and he credited it to him as righteousness. Abraham is called the father of faith. As the ancestor of the Israelites, God's chosen, he's often seen as a spiritual hero. Most people focus on his obedience and confidence, but overlook the deeply human heart behind his obedience, a hidden journey of wavering between trust and fear, surrender and control. Now, let's step into the weakness behind the obedience, and glimpse the real life of the father of faith. When God called Abraham, he was already 75. His life was stable, respected. The culture around him worshipped other gods, or his identity was rooted in ancestral traditions. Suddenly, God spoke. Leave everything you know, your people, your past, your security. Go to the land I will show you. No map, no timeline, only a promise. Abraham, this man called the father of faith, responded. He didn't ask why, or where, or how. He simply packed up and started the journey. But the deeper truth is, his departure wasn't fearless, it was trembling. He faced famine and fear. He passed through the promised land without settling, going all the way to Egypt's border. He made mistakes, lying to protect himself, saying his wife was his sister. He tried to control the outcome by taking Hagar as a concubine. When God's messenger said he'd have a child next year, he quietly doubted. And on. Even the father of faith, during the 25-year wait for the promised son, was just like us. He had doubts, he wavered, he tried to take control, he felt discouraged. Yet God truly gave him Isaac. The name Isaac means laughter. That laughter hinted at Abraham and Sarah's initial disbelief and quiet chuckle when they heard they'd have a child. But it also became the expression of deep joy when the promise was fulfilled. If it were us, 25 years of waiting, growing old and frail, or hope turning into despair, could you really keep your faith in God, never doubting, never anxious, never trying to control, just simply believing God's promise will come true? Could you? But just after the miracle arrived, God asked Abraham to offer that son as a sacrifice. This was God's deeper intention for Abraham. Even when you don't understand me, will you still trust me? God wasn't just giving Abraham a son. He was shaping a heart that could carry a covenant. He was building a deep, tested relationship of trust. God's goal wasn't just to bless Abraham, but to change him. From someone who walked by sight, to someone who walked only by faith. To make him the root of a new people, a people who live by faith, not by control. Abraham's journey is a powerful spiritual lesson. Faith isn't about certainty. It's about trust. Abraham didn't know where he was going. He had no plan, just a word, a promise. He chose to trust the one who made the promise. Ask yourself, when the map is blank, can you still follow God? Can you believe that once you take the first step, God will draw the next one? Delay is not denial, but God's carefully designed plan. 25 years of silence. Can you imagine how that felt? Year after year, Sarah's womb remained empty. Every month ended in disappointment. But God wasn't being cruel. He was forming a vessel that can endure, a kind of faith that won't collapse under pressure. You will make mistakes, but grace is greater. Abraham lied, doubted, compromised. But God never left, and never canceled the promise. Even when Abraham deceived Pharaoh, calling Sarah his sister, God sent plagues to Pharaoh's household and kept Sarah safe. Because God's covenant is based on his faithfulness, not human perfection. Can you still believe God is with you, even when you fail, even when you've let him down? When you know it's wrong but still can't control yourself, can you turn back and trust he hasn't abandoned you? Sometimes God asks you to let go of your dream, to show you a greater truth. When God asked Abraham to offer Isaac, he wasn't trying to take something away. He was revealing this. God himself is our provider. Not dreams, not sons, not promises, but God himself. Why does Abraham's story matter to you and me? Because it's not just his story, it's every one of our stories. We all live in tension between comfort and calling, a between the known and the unknown. We're invited into a between trusting God and trying to control things ourselves. And God, full of mercy, is still calling today. Leave the safety you lean on. Come walk with me. Trust me. Abraham's life shows us God is not looking for perfect people. It's our imperfections that create space for his glory and power to be revealed in our lives. He's looking for a faithful heart, even one that fears, even one that wavers between belief and doubt, but still chooses to take the first step at his command. Because our second step doesn't land on our own strength, but on God's control. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 8. By faith, Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to the place which he would receive as an inheritance. And he went out, not knowing where he was going. Take a moment to pause in your busy life, a step back from the everyday noise. Ask yourself, what is God inviting you to let go of right now? Is it an identity, a relationship, a sense of security you're afraid to lose? Are you willing to take his hand and walk toward the land I will show you? Which part of Abraham's journey reminds you of your own story? Which of his weaknesses show you it's time to stop struggling and surrender to God? Even if the path ahead looks like emptiness or a roaring sea, take that step of faith. What holds you up isn't solid ground, but the faithfulness of God.